Welcome to the video lecture on Storage Area Network. In this session, we'll be discussing FCOE or Fiber Channel over Ethernet. FCOE protocol provides consolidation of local area network and SAN traffic over a single physical interface infrastructure. Fiber Channel over Ethernet protocol helps organizations to address the challenges of having multiple discrete network infrastructures. So organizations, they have different discrete network infrastructure. So this FCOE helps organizations to address the challenges in handling these discrete network infrastructure. FCOE uses CEE or the Converged Enhanced Ethernet link to send FC frames over Ethernet. Now let us see how this IO consolidation is done using the FCOE. Okay. Now the major benefit or advantage of using FCOE is IO consolidation. Now the figure that is shown here, it represents the infrastructure before an FCOE deployment. Here the storage resources are accessed using the host bus adapters or the HBAs, and the IP network resources are accessed using the network interface cards by the servers or the NICs. Typically in a data center, a server is configured with 2 to 4 NIC cards and redundant host bus adapter cards. That is the HBA cards. So in a data center, a server may have 2 or more NIC cards and redundant HBA cards. If the data center has hundreds of servers, it would require a large number of adapters, cables and switches, which may lead to a very complex environment which is very difficult to manage and scale. The cost of power, cooling and floor space further adds to the challenge. So that is before consolidation or before using FCOE. So there may be lots of requirement. There may be very large power consumption because of large number of devices. Cooling facility may be required more, as well as more space is required in the data centers. To overcome this, if FCOE is implemented, all the resources can be consolidated. Okay, or the input output can be consolidated. Let us look at the next diagram, which shows the infrastructure after FCOE consolidation or FCOE implementation. This diagram shows IO consolidation with fiber channel over Ethernet using FCOE switches and CNAs, converged network adapters. The converged network adapter replaces both the host bus adapters and the network interface cards in the server and consolidates both the IP as well as the FC traffic. This reduces the requirement of multiple network adapters at the server to connect to different networks. Overall, this reduces the requirement of adapters, cables and switches. This is also considerably used to reduce the cost and the management overhead. All the disadvantages which we discussed earlier, that is having multiple switches, multiple ports, different types of devices, more cost, more storage space, more cooling facility, more power consumption, all these challenges can be mitigated using this FCOE, which uses CNA, Converged Network Adapter, that consolidates both the IP as well as the fiber channel traffic. Okay. Now let us see what are the components of FCOE network. There are three major components. We have a CNA or a Converged Network Adapter, we have a bunch of cables, and we have FCOE switches. Let us first try to understand what we mean by or what is the Converged Network Adapter. A Converged Network Adapter, also called as CNA, provides functionality of both a standard network interface card and a fiber channel host bus adapter in a single adapter that consolidates both the type of traffic. So it replaces both a network interface card, that is NIC, as well as the host bus adapter, that is the HBA. CNA eliminates the need to deploy separate adapters and cables for fiber channel and Ethernet communications, thereby reducing the required number of server slots and switch ports. Converged Network Adapter offloads the FCOE protocol processing task from the server, thereby freeing the server CPU resources for application processing. As shown in this particular diagram, a Converged Network Adapter contains separate modules for 10 gigabit Ethernet fiber channel and FCOE application specific integrated circuits, or we call it as FCOE ASIC. The FCOE ASIC encapsulates the fiber channel frames into Ethernet frames. On one end of this ASIC is connected to 10 GB Ethernet, 10 gigabit Ethernet, and the ASIC is used for server connectivity, while the other end provides 10 gigabyte Ethernet interface to connect to FCOE switch. So that is your converse net adapter. It is a combination of, it offers the functionalities of both a host bus adapter used in FC and a network interface card used in IP. Now let us proceed to the next component of the FCOE network, that is the cables. So two options are available for FCOE cabling. You can either have copper based twinax and standard fiber optic cables. A twinax cable is composed of two pairs of copper cables covered with a shielded casing. The twinax cable can transmit data at speed of 10 Gbps over shorter distances up to 10 meters. Twinax cables require less processing power and are less expensive than the fiber optic cables. The small form factor pluggable plus, or we can call it as SFP plus connector, is a primary connector that is used for FCOE links and can be used for both optical as well as the copper cables. So that is the second component of your FCOE network, that are the cables. The first component we discussed is CNA, converse network adapter. The second component is cable. Third component we have are the FCOE switches themselves. A FCOE switch has both Ethernet switch and fiber channel switch functionalities. The FCOE switch has a fiber channel forwarder, or we can call it as FCF, Ethernet bridge, and a set of Ethernet ports and optional optic fiber channel ports, as shown in the diagram that is displayed here. The function of the fiber channel forwarder, or the FCF, is to encapsulate the fiber channel frames received from the fiber channel port into the FCOE frames, and also to decapsulate the FCOE frames received from the Ethernet bridge to the fiber channel frames. So the fiber channel forwarder, or the FCF, it is used to encapsulate the FC frames received from the FC port into the FCOE frames. Similarly, it decapsulates the FCOE frames received from the Ethernet bridge to the fiber channel frames. Upon receiving the incoming traffic, the FCOE switch inspects the ether type that is used to indicate which protocol is encapsulated in the payload of an Ethernet frame. So the FCOE switch inspects the Ethernet type and determines the destination. Okay, it is used to inspect the ether type of the incoming frames and uses that to determine the destination. If the ether type of the frame is FCF, is FCOE, if the ether type of a frame is fiber channel over Ethernet, the switch recognizes that the frame contains the FC payload and forwards it to the fiber channel forwarder. From there, the fiber channel is extracted, or the FC frame is extracted from the FCOE frame and transmitted to the fiber channel storage area network over the fiber channel ports. If the ether type is not FCOE, then the switch handles the traffic as usual Ethernet traffic and forwards it to the Ethernet ports. So that is the functionality of FCOE switches. So upon receiving the incoming traffic, the FCOE switch inspects for the ether type of the incoming frames and uses that to determine the destination. If the ether type of the frame is FCOE, the switch recognizes the frame as a FC payload and forwards it to the fiber channel forwarder. From there, it decapsulates the fiber channel frame from the FCOE frame and transmitted over the FC SAN over the FC ports. If the ether type is not FCOE, then the switch handles it as a usual traffic, Ethernet traffic, and forwards it to the Ethernet ports. Now let us try to understand the FCOE frame structure. Okay, an FCOE frame is an Ethernet frame that contains an FCOE protocol data unit. As shown in this diagram that is displayed here, It shows the FCOE frame structure. The first 48 bits in the frame are used to specify the destination MAC address. The next 48 bits specify the source MAC address. The 32-bit IEEE 802 tag or 802.1q tag supports the creation of multiple virtual networks or VLANs across a single physical infrastructure. FCOE has its own Ether type as designated by the next 16 bits followed by the 4-bit version field. The next 100 bits are reserved and are followed by the 8-bit start of frame and then the actual FC frame. The 8-bit end of frame delimiter is followed by 24 reserved bits. The frame ends with the final 32 bits dedicated to the FCS or the frame check sequence function that enables error detection for the Ethernet frame. The encapsulated fiber channel frame of the original 24-byte fiber channel header and the data being transported, including the fiber channel CRC. The fiber channel frame structure is maintained such that when a traditional FC SAN is connected to a FCOE capable switch, the FC frame is de-encapsulated from the FCOE frame and transported to the FC SAN seamlessly. This capability enables the FCOE to integrate with the existing FC SANs without the need for a gateway. The frame size is also an important factor in FCOE. A typical fiber channel data frame has a 2112 byte payload, 2112 byte payload, a 24 byte header and a FCS. A standard Ethernet frame has a default payload capacity of 1500 bytes. To maintain a good performance, a FCOE must use jumbo frames to prevent fiber channel frame from being split into two Ethernet frames. So that is your FCOE frame structure. Let us try to understand FCOE frame mapping. The encapsulation of the fiber channel frame occurs through the mapping of fiber channel frames onto Ethernet, as shown in the diagram that is displayed here. Fiber channel and traditional networks have stacks of layers where each layer in the stack represents a set of functionalities. The FC stack consists of 5 layers, FC0 through FC4. Ethernet is typically considered as a set of protocols that operates at the physical and data link layers in the 7-layer OSI stack. The FCOE protocol specification replaces FC0 and FC1 layers of the FC stack with Ethernet. This provides the capability to carry FC2 to the FC4 layer over the Ethernet layer. That is your FCOE frame mapping that occurs, which includes encapsulation of fiber channel frame that occurs through the mapping of fiber channel frames onto the Ethernet. Now let us try to understand what are the FCOE enabling technologies. Conventional Ethernet is lossy in nature, which means that the frames might be dropped or lost during transmission. Converged EEE or Converged Enhanced Ethernet or Lossless Ethernet provides a new specification to the existing Ethernet standard that eliminates the lossy nature of the Ethernet. This makes 10 gigabit Ethernet a viable storage networking option similar to the fiber channel. Lossless Ethernet requires certain functionalities. Okay, now let's see what are these functionalities. Now these functionalities are defined and maintained by the Data Center Bridging or DCB task group, which is a part of IEEE 8.2.1 working group. Now the functionalities that are required for lossless Ethernet are priority based flow control, or we can call it as PFC. The second functionality is enhanced transmission selection. Third one we have is network the congestion notification, we call it as CN. And the fourth one we have is something called as Data Center Bridging Exchange Protocol, we can call it as DCBX. Let us look at what are these individual functionalities that are required for implementing lossless Ethernet. Let us first look into what do we mean by priority based flow control or PFC. PFC provides a link level flow control mechanism The PFC creates 8 separate virtual links on a single physical disk and allows any of these links to be paused and restarted independently. Priority based flow control enables the pause mechanism based on users' priorities or classes of service. Enabling the pause based on priority allows creating lossless links for traffic such as FCOE traffic. This pause mechanism is typically implemented for FCOE while regular TCP/IP traffic continues to drop frame. So this PFC provides a link level flow control mechanism. Let us look at the next functionality that is required for lossless Ethernet, that is ETS or Enhanced Transmission Selection. Enhanced Transmission Selection provides a common management framework for the assignment of bandwidth to different traffic classes such as LAN, SAN and inter-process communication or the IPC. When a particular class of traffic does not use its allocated bandwidth, Enhanced Transmission Selection enables other traffic classes to use the available bandwidth. Now the next functionality that is required for lossless Ethernet is CN or Congestion Notification. Congestion Notification provides end-to-end congestion management protocols such as FCOE that do not have built-in congestion control mechanisms. Link level congestion notification provides a mechanism for detecting congestion and notifying the source to move the traffic flow away from the congested links. Link level congestion notification enables a switch to send a signal to the other ports that need to stop or slow down their transmissions. The process of congestion notification and its management involves communication between the sender and the receiver. If a congestion at the receiving end occurs, the algorithm running on the switch generates a congestion notification message to the sending node. In response to the congestion notification message, the sending end limits the rate of data transfer. So that is your congestion notification functionality that provides end-to-end congestion management for protocols such as FCOE that do not have any built-in congestion control mechanisms. Now let us look at the last functionality that is also required to implement lossless Ethernet, that is Data Center Bridging Exchange Protocol, or we can also call it as DCBX. DCBX protocol is a discovery and capability exchange protocol which helps converged enhanced Ethernet devices to convey and configure their features with the other CEE devices on the network. DCBX is used to negotiate capabilities between the switches and the adapters, and it allows the switch to distribute the configuration values to all the attached adapters. This helps to ensure consistent configuration across the network. So that is DCBX or Data Center Bridging Protocol. So DCBX, congestion notification, enhanced transmission selection and priority based flow control are the functionalities that are required or that are defined and maintained by the Data Center Bridging Task Group in order to implement the lossless Ethernet. Thank you.